Oh, where we have it. Greetings, Pathfinders. Dustin Knight here. Welcome to my Indiefinder Fridays. Now that I have a name for it, I've decided, yes, I'm going to spend every Friday talking about some of the best independent publishers, third-party products coming out for, being funded for, and already out that we might have missed for Pathfinder, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and Starfinder. Today we have three different products I want to especially look at, and some other shoutouts that we're going to see coming right on up. So let's start out just with some quick Paizo news that has happened since that big news I had on my Booster Bestiary on Tuesday. We have Wrath of the Righteous has come out, I think yesterday. Everyone, this is the Wrath of the Righteous video game. I backed it myself, but I'm waiting a few more days till I get some more projects done, and then I'm going to use it to kind of reward myself. Everyone's been talking about how great it is, how it has far less of the problems that Kingmaker had when it was first released. Big thing for me is you could play Kitsune. There's a whole lot of options. It uses the first edition modified for the computer game. You could play through Wrath of the Righteous, the Pathfinder AP. It's getting a lot of great reviews. You'll see a lot of people streaming it. I believe Jason Doleman is going to be streaming it soon. I think tomorrow. You could check out his Discord to find out when. And if you want to check it out, hey, go check it out. It's selling like hotcakes right now. People are saying it's really good, and I, for one, can't wait to check it out myself. In other news, we've had some product shifting. I believe the only thing Paizo is shipping out this month will be Tech Revolution. Everything else has been going into October, which, as you can see here, is quite a bit. We got Guns and Gears, we got Grand Bazaar, we have flip maps. But I want to stress that due to shipping concerns, like right now there are 44 shipping container ships in just Long Beach alone waiting to be unloaded, and nobody there to unload them. So due to shipping concerns, if you want anything this year for Christmas, Pathfinder, Starfinder gift, or anything, you should look into getting it now. October looks like it's going to be loaded with great stuff. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a really exciting time. There's going to be more content than we could possibly review in just a month. So whoever you follow here on the Paizo sphere, you are going to be bogged down with some great stuff starting this October. Oh, hello there, Dom. Nice to see you there. So, in addition, I want to point out that Gen Con is in 13 days, and Paizo has a Twitch stream going during that time. There'll be announcements, there'll be new content being showed, there'll be some great interviews with some Paizo people and some independent writers. Check it out. Gen Con is still the big convention of the industry, even if PaizoCon is more of the big convention of the Paizo sphere. Both of them are huge, both of them are great. There's tons of games being played for PFS, including a brand new special. Check it all out. Alright, so on to these here reviews. So first thing I picked up, this is a bit of an older book, but I haven't seen it, so it's new to me. Where are we? Is it this? It is. Alright, so first thing I checked up is, yes, somebody made a, this was written by, Joseph Fox. It is a, mimic ancestry for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which just that idea alone makes it worth it. Everyone loves mimics. I love mimics. I've always wanted to play as a mimic or a mimic, half mimic character, and if you ever want to play kind of half mimic ancestry, heritage, whatever you want to call it, hey, check out this. This book has some really fun, flavorful feats, abilities, ancestry feats. You could spit coins at people, store extra coins in a space in your body, heat up food in a space in your body and use it to cook with, or use that heat for a limited breath weapon. I will admit though, some of the things in here I usually just give nothing but good reviews, and this is a great book. You should check it out, but there are a couple things in here that I would make minor adjustments. Specifically, I would use like class DC for some of these DCs that just scale like 12 plus character level. Yeah, no, you should look into using some kind of skill DC or class DC customize these to your character. Like, talk to your GM, ask them about the feats that you want to take, and kind of look into fiddling with them just a little bit, because some of them might need a little bit of fiddling. With most characters, most of these are going to be just fine. The feats do only go up to level 13, so you're probably looking at this as a heritage if you're playing up in the higher levels, or looking into this with a heritage, although this is technically an ancestry. I am just taken with the idea of playing a mimic. I love it. Being able to transform. The base ability they have is they could mimic an object, transform into an object. They could eventually get feats to transform into armor that other PCs could wear them, which, yeah, there's going to be some stuff in there about movement and attacks of opportunity that things might get a little strange, but if you're the party who really, really, really likes strange characters with lots of fiddly bits they could work with, hey, this is a great book for you. So go ahead and check it out. This is part of their line of Binder Miscellaneous. It's only 4 pages, but it's enough to play this ancestry. It is by Joseph Foxworld, is the publishing group, and they are on DriveThruRPG. All right, so next we have from, I believe, Sasha Lorena Harving, who made the Emissary that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. We have yes, Queer Pride Barbarian. So it says right in the beginning of the book that Sasha here understands completely that this celebrates some of the most iconic ideas, ideals, and even stereotypes of the LGBTQIAP community. It does straddle the line here between parody and what did they put? They put straddle the line between parody and serious work, and it does a great job at that. I gotta admit it. When I got this, my expectations weren't low, because the author produces great work, but they weren't. I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna play this. It was more like, what is this? Just a curiosity. But the more I read about it, this idea of having this, you're channeling the pride you have in yourself, despite feeling like you might not be taken seriously, despite feeling like you might be oppressed, you're channeling the pride in yourself. That whole idea really started resonating with me. Little aside, Magic the Gathering for a long time has had a problem with the color identity, the color red. It's long meant fire, lightning, volcanoes, anger, but it's meant to be passion. It's meant to be emotions, but they tend to default to anger, much like the Barbarian. This has opened my eyes to starting to see the Barbarian as a warrior that channels an emotion. It doesn't have to be anger, though. It could be pride in oneself despite oppression. It could be zeal for, even like if you're like a zeal for freedom, but not a divine based freedom, or a passion for creativity, a passion for love, a passion for anything positive, negative, anything in between. I really like that idea of a non-divine warrior that channels their passion other than anger. I mean, anger's fine too, in a way. Anger's kind of fun. Oh, no problem, Risky. You can check this up. It'll be automatically posted to YouTube, so you could always check my recordings on my YouTube channel, or I suppose Twitch will also save these, or however else you like to listen to videos. So, to go over the Queer Pride Barbarian just a little bit, you do extra damage, a little bit more than normal Barbarian, but it is mental damage. So that's a good trade-off. There are class feats that let you instead change them to different types of energy damage, depending on what speaks to your character, how your character feels about themselves. And that kind of openness, that kind of ability to express yourself, very much in line with the idea of being this pride barbarian, this queer pride barbarian. Eventually you get like a shield by pride, let you use your charisma instead of your dex for your AC if it's higher. Very powerful. But while you're raging, instead of getting a status penalty to your AC, it has some other stuff you can do with that there too. But that's probably the one that like most people might be like, might be a little too much, but then you realize, well, this is a barbarian, so they're not using the charisma for much of anything else. I think it works. My favorite things it does is it's campy, but I love it. It has Glitter Blast. At 20th level, it could even swing out prismatic sprays. Just glorious, absolutely glorious. It's fashionable. It's awesome. It's absolutely fabulous. That's the best way I could describe this. You have ways to help your allies when they're feeling down. You have ways to deflect pride-clad deflection. You get higher than normal barbarian armor proficiencies. A little bit odd for barbarian, but like I said, I prefer seeing the barbarian not as the Conan, but as any kind of warrior who channels an emotion to fight, other than a champion. Because I know there's a lot of champions who are probably like, wait a minute, I'm a champion of Desna, or I'm a champion of Shaylin. I have passion and all that. Yeah, okay, you do, but you have passion with the backing of a god. Not everyone wants that. Some people want the passion of themselves to come out, the passion they feel for themselves, not because they're following a deity who says, follow your own passion, but simply because they believe in themselves. Which is great for an adventure, especially an adventure from like an oppressed land. Whole thing is just fabulous. Yeah, you have surge of emotions. You gain a lot of ways to gain temporary hit points because you're so fabulous and believe in yourself so much. And more ways to deal different types of ARG damage with your melee attacks. Which, yeah, like I said, fabulous, awesome, love it. This is by Glenn Bucky Publishing. Check it out. It's on Drive-Thru RPG. And like most third-party works, all of these were less than $5. I want to say $2, $3 each. But you can make an entire character based on them. So, fabulous deal if that is a concern for you. Finally, we have Stellar Options Alternate Solarians by Legendary Games. This one's also by Sasha Loranoa Harving. It's a newer one, Starfinder product for the Solarian, probably one of my favorite Starfinder base classes. This one's really, again, really cool. Love it. If I do play a Solarian, I'm definitely using stuff from this. I also love that there's some stuff in here that refers to Advanced Occult Guide, that being my favorite Starfinder book. Right up here on my bookshelf, that big gray thing right there. Love it. I almost consider it like the second core book of Starfinder. I consider it my advanced player's guide, so to speak. Even though, yes, it does have a leaning to the occult, for sure. But Starfinder is the kind of genre where you want the leaning to the occult more than leaning to magic, for me. All right, so Solarian, this lets you could, instead of having a weapon, you could focus on your moat, using it almost like a wisp ally to get herring fire cover and other bonuses as you send your little buddy out there. They have Broken Cycle, lets you focus more on either Stellar or Graviton, Void or Light, instead of going one the other. You just go one path on this one. It's an alternate class. They have another alternate class that lets them focus on Star Tech, which is kind of an astrolabe apparatus. It's kind of like you're halfway between a Solarian and an engineer. Pretty cool. You get kind of it's like a stellar drone is kind of a way to put it, but you could do more with it than just that. You can make it like an armament. You can make it like an armor, an apparatus, a mechanic. It's like a mechanic. It's like you're a Solarian mechanic, which is really cool. And I love Storm Mode. Storm Mode lets you channel the power of kind of nature, thunder, wind, instead of, so a little bit more terrestrial than a Solarian, which, yeah, I know the point of Solarian is stars and all that, but hey, I like the mechanics enough that if I want to play a thunder wielder in Starfinder, yeah, I would love to wield a big thunder sword and shoot wind at people to push them over. So yeah, a lot of great options there. Love this book. Highly recommend it to anyone who wants to play a Solarian, especially if you're looking to do something like the wind powers, the mechanics, or just focus on half of your Solarian powers rather than the whole thing. Much like one of my friends who just started doing that or had the option to start doing that in our Starfinder campaign, but chose instead balance, which is a great path too. All right, so we're about halfway through the show now, which is grand, because I wanted to show off one of my favorite little subreddits here and another source of great tools for your campaign. Oops, I did not mean to move that over. There we have it. If you haven't known about it, the Pathfinder 2e subreddit is great. There's a lot of awesome content on there. A lot of Paizo folks hang out there and sometimes release Like, for example, there's a quiz on there right now for what you want to see at the Gen Con Guns and Gears panel, a kind of informal poll. It's a really, really, really happy community. It's been uplifting and nice. In addition, there's another subreddit called 2E Creations. Pathfinder 2E Creations is Pathfinder 2E Creations, not just 2E Creations. Pathfinder 2E Creations is it's run by Orphane. He's the creative mind behind the Botanical Bestiary. It's a great source of fun content for your campaign or character. It's all well categorized by tags, so you have, monsters, feats, ancestries. It makes it really easy to navigate through here. When you first find it, assuming you're using the default subreddit, you will see something along the lines of this. Let me go ahead and close that and that. If you use the old style subreddit, of course, you will just see something more like this. All right, so if you don't know about Reddit, you upvote, you downvote. Things tend to be sorted by that. When you find a new subreddit, most people just tend to go to top, click all, and you can see kind of the highest upvoted stuff on there. And I'm going to be spending my streams here talking about stuff that I saw that was posted within the last week that I think is really cool, and you should go ahead and give it a check out. So we have here some new feats for monks, including the Flowing River Stance and the River Surge. Flowing River Stance is all about moving enemies around without necessarily damaging them. I love. Yes, I do also believe I love it. Would love it more if it was a tiny bit more active, Dom. But the best way to make a Reddit active is to talk about it with people, share links from it, and say that's where you got them from, and post stuff to yourself. I post my own Booster Bestiary creations that I make every Tuesday to that subreddit, and honestly, the Pathfinder 2E tools suite that are used to generate most of these layouts you see here makes it so fun and easy to make monsters, feats, whatever it is, spells, whatever it is you want to make, that I won't be surprised at all if in a year's time we're seeing just so much content on there. All right, so yeah, these monk feats are really cool. They're more about like kind of a flow, going with the flow, not trying to maximize your damage, just trying to move enemies around. There is a high level style feat there, a high level feat for this style that lets you force enemies to attack themselves when they would miss you, which I think is really flavorful and nice. Of course, these are homebrew, not third-party published, so there is some stuff in here that, of course, will come off as a little too strong with certain other feats. Even with this, there's a way to just increase all your unarmed attack die, which might be a bit much, but talk to your GM about other stuff that's on here. Remind them that just because one feat in a list of feats is broken doesn't mean another one isn't just the thing you've been looking for and would work great in your campaign. All right. There was also a Doleman Algae posted. It's a little coral-like algae with really cool flavor that will every DM will love if you ever go, I want us to have an underwater adventure, but my players have no way to fight or move underwater. Yeah, it's a mundane way to get ingested mundane tool to allow players to breathe underwater, fight underwater without penalties. We all need that on occasion. There's two really cool monsters this week. We have the Modder. It's a child of an ancient powerful god. My favorite part about it has an ability called Demand Supplication that forces people to become frightened and stunned and go prone and start worshipping it, which is really cool for a mid-battle ability. I like that a lot. The art itself is super creepy. It's just makes for a really cool kind of evil but pseudo-natural herald of a god. I like it. The Cabal Necrosis is a failed lich. Oh, I should be saying who posted these. I am so sorry. Next week, I will be sure to always look up who posted each of this content. If you go on 2E Creations right now, these are all posted within the last week. Oh, here we go. The Cabal Necrosis was posted by Eldritch Dream. The Algae was posted by the Set Twilight Years and is on his blog. And the Modar was posted by Iragula Superbia. Great. All right, so the Cabal Necrosis is a lich, failed lich, that exists with a bunch of spellcasters fused together in a failed ritual. It can cast rituals as though it were three separate creatures. Kind of cool. It can leech when it hits you. My honest favorite focus about this is the arcane prepared spell list, which a lot of people glaze over. You have to, as a GM, look over the list of your monsters if you want to use them, because some spells might be a bit too much, or it might not have enough of what you need. This has a great list of spells for a 16th level monster. There's a handful of utility, handful of like dispel magic, magical fetters, but then there's those amazing things like blindness, force cage, call of blood, cup of dust, disintegrate, maze, those kind of spells you need to make this, oh yeah, this is a villainous spellcaster and he is a serious threat. And it's a lot harder than you think. The spell list part, I mean, that's why I kind of avoid spellcasters if I don't have a lot of time for my booster bestiaries, is it could take a long time to look through those lists of spells to just find the perfect spells to capture a monster's essence. And Eldritch Stream has totally done it with this monster here. All right, here we have, this is a little more controversial. These were posted by... Okay, I can't find that one. This was also posted to the Pathfinder 2e subreddit. They were attempts at a few more archetypes for the base class archetype feats for Pathfinder 2e to help alchemists, cleric, rogues, witches, fighters, and rangers get the final abilities that they currently cannot access if they are simply multi-class characters. There's a lot of debate as to whether or not these are balanced or not. I think it's an interesting idea. I think they're going in an interesting place. It needs a little bit more tweaking, but I like the idea a lot. It's something I, for some reason, never really gave much thought to until now. Going pseudo-viral also by Elder Dream was a sports system. There isn't any rules yet for the actual sport events, but I think we might see them soon. They might even be on Elder Dream's blog if he has one. But he did make this cool downtime activity, which the rules for this, there's an updated one if you go to the comments down here. Reposted for your ease, updated version. Yes. So you make a check with a skill appropriate for the sports activity that you're about to do. And it kind of works as you're aiding yourself going forward because you're training for this sports activity. I like that a lot. Flavorful downtime activities are excellent. Every GM should consider them for their own campaign, and this one is no exception. Finally, but not lastly by any means, Improfet, who posts a lot of great stuff on that subreddit, has posted a Giantkin Ancestry. If you ever wanted to play a slightly larger than medium, but still medium son or daughter or child of a Giantkin. This is has some really, it definitely deserves the rare tag. There is some stuff here, like for example, it comes with 12 hit points and for its ancestry, but it has a dexterity flaw. So as per Pathfinder 2e, yeah, that makes sense. You have a little bit more hit points, but you have lower AC. Great. The mandatory dexterity flaw is definitely what is giving this the rare tag for sure. Throwing rocks is its base ability, and then it has heritages, cloud, cyclops, fire, Goliath, rune, storm, troll. Cool. And currently he only has the first level feats up. He is posting more. A new post looks like every other day or so. So by the time it's done, we'll have ourselves a full free ancestry from 2E Creations, and I love it. I love it. Just the idea of playing a Giantkin alone. I have lots of friends who definitely are going to go ahead and want to go for it. So go ahead and check it out. Always remember to read the comments. There's very often creators in 2E, myself included, will have stuff pointed out to them and go, oh yeah, definitely. I would go with that instead. And when you see that, that's a pretty good method of going, okay, yeah, I should change this up a little. Like my gold eating dragon from last week, somebody pointed out, like, they could just breathe as much gold as they want. Oh yeah, okay, I need to put a cap on that or it'll make the DCs too high. Stuff like that. It happens. And that is, of course, the primary difference you gotta look out for between something that's published that has an editor looking over it and something that's just being posted for fun. Just a little homebrew. All right. So, now that I'm over with that, we have ourselves some Kickstarters and shoutouts. I'm putting a little bias icon on here because Several of these are from people I know, friends, publishers. They're things I've backed on Kickstarter, so having more people back them will benefit me. Or they're things that I even have written content in myself. So I am pointing that out in case anyone accuses me of bias. Why is my shoutouts? Oh, there we go. All right, so first on Owen Casey Stevens' Patreon, he has a Starfinder Inquisitor coming. He's been posting about this for the last week or two. He's been posting ideas of how to design a new base class in Starfinder. Great article on that. If you ever want to start making your own base class in Starfinder, or even potentially Pathfinder, read that first to get some inspiration on how to tackle the project. He is looking for one more Inquisition, so if you are a backer, go ahead and, if you're not a backer, become a backer. If you're a backer, go ahead and check it out. This is Owen Casey Stevens' Patreon, and you could help vote on what the next final Inquisition will be. Madness, Occult, Solar, Technology, Tyrant, or Void. I picked Void. All right, so Battle Zoo Bestiary came out earlier this week. This has been all over the place, as it should be. It has work from Stephen Glicker, Mark Seitfer, Patrick Rainey, man, my head's hurting. Yes, everybody who's worked with, everyone who got through the RPG Superstar, I think Ron Lundeen, and, man, my brain is just Linda Zayas Palmer. A lot of people worked on these. A lot of really talented designers and authors and developers. These are going to be great. The bestiary itself is a bunch of monsters, I believe several of which were from the RPG Superstar. The illustrations that we've seen for them thus so far in the previews are amazing, including a bunch of leshies, of course. Jewel of the Indigo Isles is an adventure with chapters by Linda Zayas Palmer, Mike Saltfer, and Ron Lundeen, I think. If I'm wrong on that, go ahead. Always read the Kickstarter before you back. I could be very wrong about that, but looks like a really fun piratey adventure. And hey, it will be easier than converting Skull and Shackles, that's for sure. It looks really good. It looks really fun. Battle Zoo Ancestries let you play as a dragon. I mean, Council of Worms style dragon. Big dragon, not a dragonkin, a dragon. Which, that alone is going to make a super badass adventure. Campaign. There we go, campaign. You might be thinking like, well, my GM would, I never GM, and no GM would ever just let me play as a dragon. Not 100% sure about that yet. Read the Kickstarter yourself. Me personally, I would let my players play a dragon. They probably would need to use their first level ancestry feat to get something that lets them shapeshift into a human, and couldn't access their dragon form for plot reasons until a certain level. But who wouldn't want to play as that? All right. So Battle Zoo Bestiary, huge. It became I'm not sure if it broke any records for Pathfinder 2e Kickstarters yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has, because it was funded within the first 5 minutes. I don't know. It was funded extremely quickly, and it's going to be grand. It is going to be epic. It is going to be something that you will not just keep on your shelf, but have out all the time, because bestiaries are awesome. Even if you're a player, remember, you have summons. So get it. Oh, and of course, there's a new base class in this, kind of a Blue Mage inspired-ish base class where you get to steal abilities from monsters you fight. Really cool. I got no work in this, but I love the people working on this, and I am backing it myself. So there you have it. All right. Borikubos. I do have some work in this, but I'm also backing it, and I'm also just a huge fan of the idea. It's great. Bunch of Latin American and South American inspired monsters, adventures. There's the shaman base class in this. It's from Legendary Games. Bunch of great talented writers, people writing about their own cultures, showing us monsters that I've never even heard of before that are just like, wow, how has that not been in every bestiary for every tabletop game since D&D 1E, because that is so cool. There's just a lot of really cool stuff in here. The Kickstarter's still going on. It includes the bestiary, the Latin American monsters, and the campaign book, Borikobos, The Lost Isles, which has archetypes, the shaman base class. I believe it will also have items, spells. You know, it's a campaign guide, which that's what we need more of too. I just recently heard, I believe it was Randall Meyer in No Direction, talk about why aren't there more custom campaign settings for 2E yet? Well, we're getting them now. And they look awesome. All right, I'm not involved in this other than I'm backing it. If you want Kitsune miniatures with a more traditional feel, check out Kitsune Clan of the Scarlet Forest by Signum Games on Kickstarter. It looks really badass. I'm loving it. All right, this one, kind of the personal thing here is I think Stan is amazing. I think he's awesome. He has been a part of the tabletop role-playing, D&D, Paizo, Dragon Magazine scenes for way longer than I have. And his art is just iconic. He has a Kickstarter for a fantastical athletic art book based on some sketches he'd been doing during the Olympics. He did at least one sketch a day during July, and they were super fun to watch on Facebook, and they came out just great. Just some really cool stuff. You know, you got tieflings throwing discuses and Kitsune being outrun by imps and all these just fantastic, hilarious scenes with additional artwork and commentary by Stan. Check it out. Stan's the man. Stan is great. I love this. And some No Direction news. Check out Randall Reed's Secret of Magic. If you are still on the fence, or someone you know is still on the fence about Secrets of Magic, or you just don't have time to read it, these articles break everything down by chapter, section by section. So we just did the Magus overview. It's a complete overview of the Magus that you could digest in about, 5 minutes. Which is pretty cool, being able to read, 30 pages in 5 minutes of stuff that stood out not only to Randall, but that he thinks will stand out to other people. He does a great job explaining classes, breaking down information into easily digestible forms, and and especially in this case, telling you what has changed since the playtest. So if you were involved with the Summoner or Magus playtest, seriously, check it out. And that will be ongoing for quite a while. The latest one was the Magus. He'll keep going forward later. This hand is, my friend, some friends from No Direction, we came together and did a broadcast of, Troubles in Otari. Alex and I played, Brother Kitsune, and, Randall and Vanessa were playing, kind of Abdarian, holy accountants, and, hey, we had a great time together. It was fun. It's my first time being recorded playing. So I am a bit nervous, but hey, that's why I'm doing these broadcasts, is so I could get better talking on camera, talking on mic, and being heard by people. Also, KD Presenting has a amazing interview with Luis talking about being a developer, basically developing and designing content for tabletop role-playing games. So if you've ever thought, I have a great idea for a book, but I want a bunch of authors to work on it with me, let's get them together, start a Kickstarter, blah, blah, blah. Okay, watch this first, get a feeling for what it's like, for the challenges involved, and for the successes that Luis himself has had, because there's some invaluable information in there. All right, going on to the YouTube side, Nonat recently did a wonderful, wonderful show where he went page by page in Secrets of Magic while drinking to do his Drunken Day Zero review of Secrets of Magic. It was hilarious. It was fabulous. It was completely biased and opinionated the entire time, and I hope he does this for his future books. So if anyone out there has access to him, tell him to do this more, because it did take, 3.5 hours, but totally worth it. Hilarious. The chat, we had a little community going on there. It was great. And on the other on the other side of things, from a 3-hour review to a 5 to 7 minute videos, check out Ask a Designer Pathfinder. They have Mark Seitfer was asked a bunch of questions that we've all wondered about, like wild shape attack bonuses, what a familiar can or can't do, different questions of people that come up very commonly in these in Reddit and Discord and even YouTube. And he is giving his best answers as a Paizo design manager, sometimes even having to ask. He was asked these questions in advance so he could get to his colleagues there at Paizo. And there's some invaluable information in here. If you've ever had a yearning for a question, check out this channel. Your question might be there, or there might be something there that you had was a question for you a while ago that you kind of forgot about. And that's a great way to manage that. They are cut into 5-minute segments being released, I believe, once a week on Fridays. So there might be a new one right now. And I love them. They're insightful. They're cool. They're fun. It really also helps highlight the how strong of a system 2E is. A lot of these issues are things like, I believe the first one was about, can I pull a creature? Like, not just shove, but move him while I move. Without having to go through all the steps of multi-grappling or whatever. I just want to move him 5 feet. And Mark points out that, oh yeah, there's rules for that. Kinda. There totally is. There's rules for adjunctiating, about judging what checks need to be done and whether or not they can be done in the core rulebook. It's not necessarily a core component of the athletics check. Not every GM will let you do it all the time, but it's there. This Pathfinder 2 is a solid system, and one thing I want to get across every time I do these Indiefinder Fridays, which I will do every Friday at 4 o'clock, is to continuously say that the strength of 2E is we have that solid mathematical system that doesn't need much adjustment, which makes it all the better, which makes all third-party additions, all additions, first or third party, all the stronger, because they could push the envelope a little bit more than other systems without potentially breaking everything, which is great. And it's that versatility as a system that I think is going to give 2E that long life that we want it to have. Let me just see. Nope. Yep. That's all I got for that. So thank you for watching the show. Went over just a little bit of time. I will be doing this every Friday. On Tuesday, you can join me. I will be opening random, mostly Magic the Gathering booster packs and getting people's suggestions on making monsters for 2E out of the illustrations and flavor of the creatures that we crack. Until then, that will be at 4 o'clock Pacific. Until then, I can't wait to... No, that will be at 6 o'clock Pacific. Yes, I'm remembering my times. So until next Tuesday, I will bid you all adieu. Thank you very much once again for joining me on the stream, and have yourself a fabulous, fabulous weekend.